All right, welcome to the 5th episode of 23real, 20 minutes of real talk with real producers in real estate, brought to you by Ohio Real Title and hosted by me, Rick Capretta. Today's guest is the show's first home builder in the series. Pretty excited about that. So let me tell you a little bit about who this is. This home builder is projected to have 40 million in closings this year between new homes and land transfers, 100 new residential closings this year, controls nearly 1,500 lots in Northeast Ohio, current board member of the Cleveland Housing Advisory Board, past president of the Cleveland Home Builders Association, a 100+ award winner for best design, best neighborhoods, best infill development, best architecture locally and nationally, as well as having rewritten numerous city zoning codes and house stimulus plans. So I'm excited to introduce to you Bo Knez of Knez Homes. What's going on, Bo?
Who wrote that for you?
Oh man, I did, and I
That was
probably look like a
amazing, man.
damn
That was a
fool
feel
reading
good.
it.
Can we go back? Can we do that one more time?
Yeah, let me turn you off again. No, we're not doing that again. The less reading I have to do, the better.
Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. So give you guys an idea, Bo's worked with Ohio Real Title somewhere between 7 to 10 years. I've been lucky enough to hang out with Bo a few times at a couple of Cavs games. He refuses to come to any golf outings. So if you've ever tried, you probably already know that answer. And then we've also hung out at one of Cleveland's finer establishments, the Schwitz. So if you're familiar with the Schwitz, Bo, Ryan, and I have had a few engagements there. Always a really, really good time. So
I don't know if engagement is a good word.
I don't know. Dried meat and booze drinking festivals. Is that a little bit? Yeah. So, and also I have to always mention this. Bo, one of Bo's attorneys on a big case of his was actually one of my best friends. We're not going to get into that story today, but it is a funny one that we share a friend outside of this industry. And Bo tells that story very well. And it's really funny.
It was an experience. It took 5 years out of my life. So
it's all right. I mean, we can't live forever. So sorry, Bo. All right. So we'll jump into it here. So many of you probably don't know that Bo actually started in the trades prior to becoming a home builder. So really, Bo and Knez Homes started as a single family builder, predominantly in Lake County, and has really transformed his company into more of an urban developer of multi-use and townhome dominant properties. So why don't you kind of walk us through the evolution of Knez Homes?
Yeah, so did get my start in working with a construction company as a summer job while I was going to college. Somebody heard the story before, and slowly morphed my way into residential home building at the doing of one of the builders, David Ingberg was a gentleman we worked with for many years. Dave has since passed. And every Saturday we would talk, and he would give me little insights on what he sees the future. He was in 1988. He told me to sell water, which we know bottled water did not exist in 1988. He also told me to open up a coffee shop, which Starbucks.
Who would have known?
Who would have known, right?
Right.
I thought he was out of his mind, but
right.
He kind of coached me along on this and got into it. Really started to take it serious in my mid to upper 20s is when we started making a run at it. And then we had the little bit of a slowdown there that lasted a couple of years, and we're right back at it. So
awesome. So tell me kind of how you literally went from this Lake County guy, and I know we've talked about it. I think you mentioned you just couldn't find lots to build on anymore. Yeah. So how did it transform from this to what you are now?
Yeah. So when the recession hit in 2005, we were going very, very strong, primarily in Lake and Jug County. And by the time it all filtered out, there was a span of years where no new developments were going in. And obviously we build our homes on residential lots, and there weren't any. So we started looking around, and we tried to go. I grew up in Cleveland, so we have tried to build in Cleveland before, but there were some barriers for us entering. Well, the barriers all dropped very quickly after the downturn, and we noticed that the city of Cleveland had a lot of vacant parcels in some areas that we thought were prime and very prime for development, and started picking up a couple here and there just to give it a try. And that's flourished very well for us. That and the movement into urban, from suburban to urban entertainment districts has been very, very huge, not just in Cleveland, throughout the country.
Right.
And with the city's incentives, today's interest rates, and the high cost of rentals in the downtown market, it makes for sale housing very lucrative. So basically, it was a lack of land and a demographic shift as we saw millennials coming into the market that want the urban, heavily amenitized, no cost amenities.
Yeah, those tax breaks must be great for everybody.
Well, 15-year tax abatement's amazing think about it. If you're paying, $4,000 to $15,000 in taxes a year, that goes away. That's a nice trip to Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. So of some of the earlier ones that you did, are those now some of those tax abatements coming due? Are they still kind of in the middle of where they were?
We've probably been in Cleveland since 2012, so they
Okay.
still got some years ahead of them.
Nice. Good.
But
Excellent.
what we're seeing right now is a lot of other cities are adopting the same philosophy because they see it working in Cleveland.
That's pretty awesome. Good to be one of the be ahead of the game rather than the one chasing the game.
Yep.
All right. So obviously you kind of alluded to the fact that the downturn 05, 08, 09, all that good stuff. Tell me how that kind of collapse and really everything compares to what we're seeing right now with the COVID-19 kind of slowdown or whatever you want to call this.
Yeah, I think they're completely two different slowdowns. The 05, 06 was just a overburn of the housing market. It was a financial calamity. There was a lot of issues there that strong economists saw. This COVID-19 pandemic was, a black swan. It came out of nowhere.
Right.
You could read as many papers or study as many graphs as you want. This was nowhere to be seen. I know that March 16th was one attitude. March 23rd was a completely different attitude. The good part about it, and for those that study some of the economists out there and what they're saying, is we went into this with a housing shortage that has only been amplified, though there is going to be an effect. Our web traffic is down 20%. Our sale, one thing that we're seeing is our sales are still strong, and the people that are coming to us are buyers.
Yeah.
They're not tire kickers. They're when they come in your door or they call you or they email you, they're for real. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the higher end product, but the blue collar product that we have out there is very, very, very strong. We don't have enough of it. We're waiting for the city to release a bunch of our projects. So they're two completely different animals. The again, 05, 06 was a financial overburden, way too much housing. People were just doing some crazy stuff with their mortgages, borrowing in top. Their leverage rates were huge. Where this is completely out of the blue. Nobody saw this coming. If they did, they've done very well. But
yeah, right.
Everything that we've seen is a shorter than typical recovery in housing due to the lack of existing homes.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever inventory you guys had that was probably ready to go and not sold, I don't know if you have too much that you guys build that isn't ready, already under contract. I'm sure it's gone because, I mean, there is nothing. Talking to the agents, if something is with, under, say, 3 or 4 in that range and is priced right, it's in multiples. I mean, right now, it's a good market if you're selling.
We have 2 models that are not sold, and we use them as models. So everything else that is up, which is 90 plus units, is spoken for.
That's awesome. That's great. I know no one saw this coming, but we're probably at the tail end of this great run we've had with the economy. What were you guys kind of seeing or thinking or feeling the actual next maybe dip was going to come prior to COVID kind of coming into this?
We felt that the higher end was going to get hit with mortgage rates where they're at, and tax abatement. You can buy a $300,000 home for $1,400-$1,500 a month.
It's insane.
Renting a we partnered with a group on a Detroit Shoreway project where we did the residential. They did the apartment, market rate apartment,
Hmm.
and to rent a 1,600 square foot townhome from them, or buy one of our $550,000 townhomes. Ours was actually less expensive per month than the rent.
Seriously?
Yes.
That doesn't even make sense.
It,
But
it,
the
it
tax
doesn't,
abatement,
which is why it's attractive to us.
yeah,
If we can beat the rental market and make our product less expensive, and some of the lenders are coming up with very aggressive down payment plans, and the city has. I mean, we're heavily involved with the area um, around University Circle. If you work
mhm,
in University Circle and one of the hospitals, museums, so and so, you are eligible for a $30,000 forgivable down payment assistance plan.
that's
So you put
awesome.
that on top of a 3.5% interest rate, on top of 15-year tax abatement. It makes it very attractive to have home ownership.
You're being paid to live there, really.
It doesn't get any better than it is right now, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, maybe
I still remember the days
pick
when
up
it went
another
under
house.
I still remember the days when it went under 10%. I almost did a backflip. The guy my
Yeah,
side, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, but for the last 15 years, I mean, what's the highest the rates have been? 7, maybe? I mean, it has been
Yeah.
insane for a really long time. It's been a nice run. So, all right. So assuming that, the weird situation we're in doesn't last forever, and it probably won't, hopefully no more than a year. What do you see Knez Homes kind of evolving into or doing here in the next 5 to 10 years?
Sure. Well, we have residential market rate for sale housing is always going to be part of our company as far as I can see. A couple things that we've seen kind of morphs into the question you asked earlier. What are we doing that's a little bit different? We have seen a pickup in our company with government projects. We're
Hmm.
doing more and more government-backed projects that we're either a general contractor on or the main contractor on. So we are going to continue down that route, because that for us is a easy integration into what do we do. We're building single family residential homes. They might be under a LIHTC product, so there's no marketing,
Hmm.
there's no sale, but that is something we'll continue doing. We are we have years ago started doing land development for local and national builders.
Hmm.
And 2021, it seems like to be a very, very big year for us on that. We have already booked about $22 million in land development
Nice.
that we'll be doing primarily, oddly enough, on the west side. But it is what it is. We'll take it where it is.
Right.
Which is I think another positive sign for the real estate market is nationals are not slowing down. They're steady as she goes, and they're continuing to have land acquisitions, take down lots, and continue on pushing forward. We were just talking to um, a legal representative from one of the nationals who had a 40-unit site on the west side of Cleveland, has all pre-sold before the road has even gone in, which is very, very,
It's
very
awesome.
good. So
Yeah.
if you're in the prime areas, if you're in areas that people want to live, the market's still there. You're fairly priced. Your house is in decent shape. The market's still there.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, it's good to see that builders are getting enough stuff up here because of this inventory crunch. I mean, it's great that this has been a really good run for you guys too, as the home builders, because Lord knows it did get thin there for a while. So this is great to see. Now, looking at the industry, obviously the last 10 years have probably been pretty good for you. What would you say has been the biggest surprise? Maybe not just with Knez Homes, but industry wise, what's kind of been the biggest surprise that you've seen?
Oh, that's actually really, really simple. I mean, 2004, our average home was 3,300 square feet.
Yeah.
McMansions, everybody wanted a McMansion on a
Right.
quarter, half acre lot. Now we're building, our average is probably 1,800, 1,900 square foot units on a 30 by 105-foot lot. So it's quite different, where when we were doing majority in suburban counties, density was always a bad word.
Right.
Nobody wanted density. If you got more than 2.5 units per acre, it was unbelievable. Where now, we're looking at projects where we have 20 an acre is light and
Right.
40 is medium and 70 to 80 units an acre is aggressive. So, those are things that getting used to. I mean, we just did a small little project, 5 units on 47th and Lorraine. The lot size was 30 by 105, and we put 5 simple townhomes on that, that pre-sold for over 300,000 apiece.
Wow.
So that's been the biggest. That it's just a different way of thinking. The McMansions we still do them. We're still
Right.
doing some big homes. We just sold a unit over $1 million on the waterfront that we'll be starting here in a couple months. So they're still out there, but primarily it's gone to a smaller footprint, a smaller unit size. We are also seeing, when I first started in this a long, probably before you were born, Rick, a long time ago, Formica was an acceptable countertop, and linoleum was acceptable floor covering, and carpet was an acceptable bedroom floor covering, where now it's hardwood tile, quartz, tile showers. Even the millennials on their first home are not settling for anything but the best with their amenities. Though we offer them less expensive amenities if budget is of concern,
Right.
they're typically going to the high end product. We're also seeing one of the largest generational wealth transfers. So we're seeing mom and dad come to the table a lot, where that was non-existent prior to the recession, where mom and dad are stroking a check for 50 or 80 grand, or I've seen as high as 400,000, or basically I'm just buying it for you, right?
Mom and dad, I hope you're listening to this.
Yeah, right. So I mean, those are some of the things that we see are different there where people wanted golf course communities many years ago.
Yeah.
Now they want the restaurants, the bars, the parks, the bike paths, the no-cost amenities is what we call them, the ancillary no-cost amenities. So you're not responsible for them, you're not paying for them, but you get to enjoy them and pick and choose as you wish.
And you're finding this across not just the millennials, but all the way up into, the boomers?
So two very good question. Two definite segments. One is the millennials, obviously, but the empty nesters,
Yeah.
such as me, right? 55, 53, 54, 55 and over
You
are
don't want the
looking
house on the
for.
hill anymore?
What's that?
You don't want that house on the hill anymore?
No, but I built a house for Mr. and Mrs. Bellamo, who had a 5,000 square foot home in Kirtland Hills on 9 acres, and they built in Tremont 1,700 square foot home on a 30 by 100 foot lot. And Mr. Bellamo said to me, he goes, "Bo, my master closet in Kirtland was bigger than my bedroom is in this home." But it's a place. The places are built for entertainment,
Right.
and for sleeping, but they go out. They belong to a dance club. They go to the local eating establishment when they reopens. Right. They go to local
Right.
parks. It's just a completely different form of living.
That's definitely a change. And if
Right.
people want the
Definitely.
McMansions, guess what? There were a million built in the 90s, so they're gonna be able to buy them if they ever want to
Yes.
make that change. So,
Yes.
but yeah, do you think you'll ever get back to building so many new big ones, or probably not?
We're market driven.
Yeah.
So it's whatever the customer wants.
Right.
It really depends on what the market drives for. We see urban continuing, but we do see suburban becoming more as the millennials get a little bit older and schools become a concern, because not
Makes
just
sense.
Cleveland, but most urban demographics do not have a strong school system, though there's been a huge push with charter schools and things of that sort that we've seen made a enormous impact on neighborhoods.
We may be all homeschooling our kids, so I guess
Yeah, right.
location won't even matter anymore.
It
So
might not even matter, right?
oh, perfect. Well, I want to thank Bo for coming on. As you can see, we've got the social network up here. You can find him at knez.net on the web. The Facebook page is Knez Homes, and so is the Instagram. So find Bo on social media. And Bo, want to thank you again, and you have a good one.
Thank you very much for your time, Rick. You have
All
a
right,
pleasant
thanks.
day.
All right,
Bye.
Bo, you too.